Hello everyone, very good evening to you. Welcome to the weekly video sessions that where we are discussing stocks from the Singapore market and the US market. So at the later end, towards the video, we're going to talk a little bit on US stocks. And without further ado, let's take a look at the Straits Times Index. Start with Straits Times Index, then we are going to look at various sectors' performance and discuss about those sectors in play, and then which are the stocks that are potentially up and coming. Okay, so let's take a look at the charts. So we have the Straits Times Index on the screen. What we are looking at is a good upward movement today. Despite lower opening, we see higher closing today, pushing the index towards the resistance at 3214 or 3215. The next resistance slightly above is around 3220 or 3221, around there. Okay, so with this nice upward movement, it helps to give the index a chance to go more northwards. Okay, but of course it needs to break above the resistance at 3220. Failure to break above its resistance may result in the continuation of the sideways, as mentioned previous videos that I've recorded, that if STI were to not be able to clear the high and have the same high, almost the same high, or almost the same low over here, then we do anticipate sideways going forward. Okay, so very importantly for the next few days, for the rest of the week, resistance at 3220 has to be broken. So looking at the current movement, I do see there's a very strong chance that resistance may be tested unless we see a bad movement from the US market, which may pull the index down to tomorrow or the next few days. But if not, if we have some good closing tonight, then the next few days should be able to test resistance. Anyway, we are very close right now. Okay. So what is helping the STI index to go higher? So let's take a look at the banks first. So we have OCBC to start off. Now, if you look closely, looking at the OCBC performance, OCBC has broken out from its 11.99 resistance and managed to close higher at 12.02. So the closing above resistance shows us that the willingness for OCBC to break its sideways trend. So it has a sideways trend over here and want to start a new trend. So this is a good sign. So for the next few days, if OCBC managed to go higher, for the start, it must close above 12.05 the next day, and then goes higher. The next resistance to watch is at this particular high. Okay, so let's plot the level here. So this resistance is around 1237. Okay, so we can see upwards continuous movement towards that resistance where we have an uptrend coming for OCBC. Okay, DBS. Although it is still very much in this sideways, is gearing itself or putting itself in a position where it may be able to hit resistance at 29.19 and 29.34. Either level hit, this may be a sign where DBS may break out later. So looking at the candle closely, you will notice that DBS always have lower opening for the past 2 days, and eventually managed to fight back and close higher. So this is a positive sign, so to speak, and we are looking forward for more upward movement. And the next few trading sessions is also very important for it to hit 2934 in order to give itself a chance to break out and break into a new trend. So after breaking above 2934, its all-time high, after factoring all the dividends that it has been paying, then we may see some levels where based on its projection, maybe the next level will be 29.54, or if it goes higher, will be 30.24. This is one way to project. Or if I were to do the classical way of measurement, so I will just measure how it tends to perform, and then this is where you get a confluence of level at around 30.24. So this is where you can anticipate more higher movement, right? If it managed to break up. For UOB, it has gone and break out above its resistance right now at 26.43. Actually, in fact, a little bit higher. Yeah, 26.44. So it managed to inch higher and close one bit higher, where it is just above its resistance. So giving it a chance to start a new trend. So this is still a positive sign to take. And the next few days, let's see whether it can continue to close higher. Of course, for a start, it has to close above 26.45. In fact, surpassing 26.48 will be a better sign. Okay, so watch for the banks closing for the next few days. Now, with the banks looking to move up higher, this makes me wonder that the recent announcement, in fact, was last month or 2 months ago, that MSCI is going to reduce its position in the banks so that to accommodate C Limited. So they're going to pare down some of their positions. So has the selling started, or it hasn't? Okay, so one sign that we are looking at is, you notice that there was a sudden gap down and the volume was high. Is this just the volume that they are expecting to sell? So same for DBS, you notice that there was a gap down and the volume surge over here. And OCBC is similar as well. So all three banks gap down on this particular day. So is MSCI done, or MSCI done with their selling? So this is where support and resistance is going to tell us, right? Now, the next sectors that I'm going to go through is the glove sectors. Last week, in the videos, I did not cover these glove sectors, right? But in my emails to my followers or my clients, so to speak, right? In fact, I covered that briefly. And so for those who would just like to review this, let me just show you what was posted. So on this particular day, on the 16th of April, right, we actually talk about this gloves. So I highlighted in the email where we talk about UG Healthcare and Top Gloves. And in the email, of course, we have daily STI outlook, Hang Seng outlook, and this is where there was a analysis on the glove sectors where we spotted the sign of uptrend with the higher low, where both of these counter has broken out from their resistance with a double bottom formation. So this is a very important milestone for both counters, because this actually suggests the infancy of uptrend. So the key is that we are looking for any weakness that provides an opportunity, right, of entry. Okay, any weakness may provide an opportunity of entry. And of course, if this entry fail, the exit will be when the support level breaks. So this counter, right, UG and Top Gloves, right, if you were to look at the chart over here, this was the day that was posted. If you look at the date, it was 15 April. And before the market opened, I was looking at this candle. So I sent it for 16th of April analysis. And the counter did have some weakness as it pulled back slightly lower before it started to surge and then move all the way up. So the key movement was here actually. So for those who did not catch the pullback, has to pay attention to this resistance. As the resistance breaks, this is the movement, start of the movement, and the counter has rallied all the way up near its resistance at around 74 cents. And if it can break above 74 cents, then we will see the next resistance at 77. Okay, so this is a very strong one from the glove sectors due to the surge in cases, not only just overseas, but also locally, because Singapore, we do detect surge in cases like just recently, just only I read the news where there are 7 cases or 8 cases are detected locally. So this helps the gloves to go up. But I do see some warning signs on this upward momentum on the other gloves counter. So let's go through them. Top gloves, we see a good movement as well. The candles is good, moving to its resistance, tested its resistance at 190. And then in fact, it's a resistance zone at 190 to 196. So if this counter go into this zone, it is a positive sign, and indeed it attempt to do so today, but unfortunately it closed at 190. So if you continually do so, because we may start to see more upward movement even towards 2.20. Now, of course, going to 2.20 is a very far price to think of. So before going to that, I would do expect this counter to pull back like this, okay, and this will give you a second chance to re-enter the stocks if you haven't. Then we have reverse stone. Now here's the warning. So we have reverse stone going higher, reaching almost to the high here. So this high is the resistance at 1.54. So the warning sign is here where you can see the upper shadow is quite significant today. And this may suggest some resting needed. But of course, when we say resting or even a warning sign, the pullback may not be very significant, because especially when the stocks is trending. So we are looking for support at 1.46, where if this counter does not continue to go up and decided to pull back, 1.46 will be a good support for the counter. Then we have MagTech also having a warning sign today, right? You can see the long upper shadow. And what we are looking at is the if it failed to move up, okay, the support level is 1.07. If it continue to move up, 1.017 resistance is likely to be tested. So the question here is, will 1.17 to be going to be tested? So based on the self-fulfilling prophecy, of course, 1.17 resistance tend to be the target that the counter would usually move to. If not, it should be able to hit 116 level. So let's see tomorrow what happened to this counter. So if we had a black candle closing, I do expect 1.07 support to hold, and that may give you the next opportunity, window of opportunity to enter into the stocks. Then we have AEM. We'll move on to the tech sector right now. So we have an AEM where we are looking at the recovery from the low. So AEM has moved off to test this minor resistance at 4.10. Now, last week, the outlook for the tech sector wasn't that great. So I mentioned that it seems to be weak for now, or even slightly bearish. So it managed, if you were to go back last Tuesday was a video. So this is Monday. So we have one last Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So after the video was recorded, the tech counters indeed went lower. This is the particular day where you see AEM move much lower and tested its support level. This previous resistance turned support and managed to hold there. So if you look at the the lower shadow over here, so we see AEM managed to hold at the support level and close higher. So the higher closing gives us the sign to tell us that, hey, support is holding. So what else next? Of course, we need a rebound. So the next day rebound wasn't that convincing. Right, the convincing movement came last Friday where it had a very nice solid closing, and today it went up to test its resistance at 410. So you can see the clear turnaround, and when this happened, in fact, we can see more positive action from the tech counters, and AEM, if it's able to break above this 410 resistance, we want it to clear 413, then eventually, of course, it may come back to 423 level. Okay, so do watch out for these few levels the next few days. UMS, right? As mentioned, there was a very strong recovery this particular day. All the same for the rest of the tech, where when you see AEM went down, hit support level and rebounded strongly. Same for UMS over here, where it has closed very strongly back to 136. So today we can see the stocks attempt to go up, but did not manage to successfully close higher. But nevertheless, it's still above its support level where it managed to hold firmly at around 134. And if it doesn't break down, we'll be looking at more upward movement. Of course, the major resistance is 140. So at least for now, we don't see a very bad sign for UMS. Unless, of course, the next day we see this, tomorrow we see this, or even this, then it will be a bad sign and or a bearish sign where if history repeats itself, it may start to go down. So just a quick recap, why did UMS come down over here? Because it announced a result that it wasn't that satisfactory and the market didn't really like it. So that's why it resulted in that plunge. So will history repeat itself again? I doubt so. So let's hope that it can hold at 134 and then retest 140 resistance. Franken is still moving on uptrend. We can still see higher lows and higher highs. And looking at the trend over here, okay, the trend is still very much intact. So what we want to see is that Franken be able to rebound from this low to form the next higher low, so that to continue its uptrend. And it got to close above 160 and then eventually break out from 163 resistance to continue its uptrend. Okay, so do watch out for that. Now, of course, if it fail to rebound, right, hopefully it doesn't go below 156, because once it comes to 151, a potential change in trend could happen. Okay, ISDN, right. Unfortunately, the breakout here wasn't been able to push the counter back to 7+ levels. Okay, the stocks decided to pull back and managed to rebound last Friday, but today a little bit disappointing, but not so bad. Doesn't give a very strong sign of upward movement, but hey, this counter tend to be slow. We see rebound, we see pullback, and then eventually go up. So hopefully rest for 2 days and then goes higher. So the level to watch for is that the ISDN must at least clear 645, then eventually retest 68, then we welcome this counter at 715. Okay, So ISDN has been turning in good results of quarters after quarters. I believe that it still have a chance to continue to go up higher. So we shall see what happens. Okay, so let's move on to the transport sectors. We have SIA to start off. Today we see the newspaper announce good news that the travel bubbles has been approved. So to travel bubble to Hong Kong. So it's going to start in May. Okay, I just received an SIA email from SIA that they are going to start the travel bubble on the 25th of May, and they emailed a list of criteria in order for me to travel. So as such, we can see a very nice white candle form today, which is a kind of a reversal sign, and the volume has picked up tremendously. So this is a sign of potential bottoming. So if this SIA continue to move up higher, we do see a more upward movement coming, and especially towards resistance at around 549, which was the previous support. As mentioned last week, that the whole SIA was bearish, and then we do expect the bottoming coming soon. Why? Due to this projections, as I mentioned, you remember that in fact the double top breakdown projections is only to 525, 524, and the SIA has already gone down previous quite low with the support at 508 to be watched. So when it goes below 508, it managed to hold at the psychological $5 level. Right, it goes briefly lower, then manage to close higher each time. So, so this is where we can see the support forming, and of course, this support now is at 496. Okay, so if again momentum continue, we do expect 549 to be tested. Sets. Right, if you remember last week, we actually covered sets may be going towards 396. Well, it did, went close, it went as low as 403, and then managed to hold at this level where today we see some rebound. But there's no volume for sets as of now. The volume did not surge today as it rebound. So, but this is still a good start, okay, as it managed to hold above 403, and further upside to 415 forms a nice support over here, okay, at this low. And if it can immediately rebound, of course, that will be good towards 426. If not, it may form double bottom formation. Okay, and then start to recover. So, well, let's watch more movement from sets. Okay, so continue to watch on. Then we talk about SI engineering now. Right, I mentioned last week that we do expect some pullback. So this counter pullback to 20-day MA and managed to rebound. So this is a good sign. So technical signs like stochastic has been turning up. You look at MACD color, you look at the histogram color has turned green. This is a change in momentum. So if the counter continue its movement, upwards movement, we do like to see it comes to 240, 243, then eventually to 255 level. Okay. Then let's touch on the green energy, Sembcorp industry. So today, disappointing because it opened flat and then closed lower. So this is if you look at the chart, is consolidating, waiting for the next movement. Okay, so let's hope that it can continue to hold at this level, above this level, at 211. So if it fail to hold above 211 and gradually pull back to support level at 201, that will give you another window of opportunity to go into the counter as something like this, signal like this, or signal like this. So we do want to see a similar type of signal. Okay, so for Kappa Corp, as I mentioned last week, I was hoping that Kappa Corp can hold at this level and eventually it may rebound to resistance. But dramatically, right, it did not. It in fact gapped down and went lower, found 100-day MA as support, which was a confluence of the previous resistance, and rebound back to its resistance at 5.55. It did attempt to break out from this 5.55 resistance, but unfortunately, it did not manage to close above. Okay, so next few days, we got to watch what's going to be the next movement for Kappa Corp. Definitely, it's going to be bullish if we can break up above this time round. 5.59 level. Okay, so if you can close above 5.59 level, then it will be a good sign. Now, so with this, you know, I'm almost done with the Singapore stocks. I got a couple of stocks that I just want to touch on. Just like to look at Food Empire, right? This counter, I highlighted in my email. Okay, just to share with you in the email again. So I highlighted in my email here on the 22nd of April. So of course, I did some analysis and in fact, SI engineering as well. So this is where I follow up on the stocks. And we do see that there is an uptrend line for this counter. And the prospect is very good as the whole stocks form up to be looking like a chart formation. So if this is so, right, this counter should be able to retest its resistance at 0.99. So from here, 945 to 99, there's still a distance to go. So no doubt this counter closed lower today, but the next few days, if it close higher and touch 99, this will form a huge cup and handle formation, and it will be exciting for this counter because once it breaks up, the target is going to be wow, very interesting. Okay, so this counter may be able to hit this 1.14 projected level if it can goes to 99. Okay, so let's move on to the US counter over here. So as usual, let's take a look at the Nasdaq. So as mentioned last week, there was some pullback after hitting the high, but managed to hold at this 13,700, rather 13,711 level. Okay, so we managed to sort of like form a base over there. And tonight, if it can recover, currently I think the futures is not doing very well. But if we do see some recovery later on to see the index goes to 14,052, then a breakout will continue its trend. So when it goes to 14,052, the support at this 13,711 is confirmed. Okay, for Dow Jones, well, it did have a very good Friday. It managed to go down, consolidating, and it still have a chance to break out. No doubt that is near the all-time high and could break out to form new high. S&P 500 is similar, so you can start to see some returns of the some confluence of movement right now. So the returns of the same type of movement, which was happening for many years until Donald Trump, the previous president, took over. Then we start to see some diverge movement. So, but then I do see that this Nasdaq can eventually break high. There's still a chance. Why? Because there are so many tech counters that are still at the low that hasn't really gone up. So let's start with Micron. It has pulled to a very attractive level, just above its 100-day MA support level. And we tend to see that this counter hasn't hit that level as yet. So once it goes below its 50-day MA, it managed to recover and go up most of the time. So is this the time? Now, zoom into the candle pattern here, you can see that this bullish engulfing pattern doesn't really work out. Probably want to follow what it had done previously, where it really goes significantly lower below 50-day MA. Now we have another pattern, which is the bullish haram. Okay, and then we have the stochastic crossing over. So it'll be interesting to look at Micron tonight. And then AMD is sideways consolidating, and we notice here that the lows are getting higher and putting itself in a very good positions to break out. And if it can break out all these resistance from 83, 89 to 87, then AMD has a very good chance to go to 94. Well, I do remember earnings are coming, although MU is not going to announce result anytime soon. It has actually just announced result and the outlook was positive. But we have AMD announcing result anytime soon. Then we have next counter, which is Square, which holds very nicely as a confluence of support, 20-day and 50-day MA. We do want to see this counter goes above 255, and then this is where it may have a good chance to reconquer its high at 278. Then we have DocuSign, higher low over here, and the resistance to watch is 334, which it may potentially hit there. Okay, no doubt there is a cluster of MA over here. In my experience, we can safely ignore it. Okay, Tesla, very popular counter sitting at the 20-day MA, or rather sitting at its MA support, 100-day MA support over there. If it can move back up to 780 resistance, break out from there, we do see it having a good chance to go back to 874 resistance. Roku, after rebounding strongly, it has to pull back, find MA as support. This is a hammer pattern. The last closing was a hammer pattern. And today, if we have a higher closing, probably above 373, or even hit to 374, then it suggests more upward movement to go higher. Okay, Qualcomm is sitting at support level as well. Netflix, as I covered last week, is going to announce result. If the result is good, it's going to break out. If the result is not, it's going to get down, as I mentioned, and it really get down over here. And then, as I mentioned, the major support is here, and it did survive above the support level. So Netflix, we got to fill up this gap over here. So if it can fill up and trace into the gap, this is one of the trading opportunities. Okay, so this is it for tonight, and I hope that you have a good week ahead, and I'll see you next week.